Greetings, friends and enemies. I have something that I want to talk about a worm that has immortality. There's, it's in the Bible, and a lot of you think that these worms are immortal, and so there's a worm that never dies. In Mark 9:48, and in some other verses also, it says, "Where the worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched." But that's just part of the total scripture. That is part of Isaiah 66, verse 23, and verse 24, where it says, "And they shall go forth and look upon the corpses of the men who have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, and their fire shall not be quenched, and they shall be an abomination to all mankind." So, first of all, there's people that are alive that are looking at the corpses. That's what is left out in the book of Luke. It just says, "Where the worm dieth not, and the fire never dieth." And so people think that it's forever, you know. But here in Isaiah, so you see, it says the corpses are dead and lying. We are not told where the corpses are, but I'm imagining that they're exposed on the earth, and that maybe like in a garbage dump, and they're burning up, and some of them have worms, maggots, because the bodies are decaying and the worm is eating the flesh. But in reality, unless this is a supernatural, spiritual occurrence, a thing that is happening where neither the worm or the bodies of the people are physical, but they're spiritual, supernatural, then if it's supernatural, of which it's not, but if it is, then it's something that possibly can continue forever and ever, if it's supernatural. But here it says the dead bodies, the corpses, and as long as there is dead bodies, corpses, there will be worms. As long as there is fuel for the fire will continue to burn. The bodies are the fuel for the fire, among other things that are probably thrown in the fire that are not spoken of. But this is not a supernatural worm or a supernatural fire. And the concept that the people are being tortured, they can't be tortured because it says that they are corpses. What are corpses? Dead bodies, dead people, dead animals, but here it's speaking about dead people, those that did not obey Yahweh. So, where the worm never dieth and the fire is never quenched, the worm will continue to exist as long as there's flesh for it to eat. the fire will continue to burn as long as there's fuel for it to be fueled by. And the bodies and the other things thrown in the fire make the fire burn. But if perhaps some of the bodies are not in the fire, because then the worms would not be able to exist and they would not be eating the flesh, because there would be no flesh, because the bodies would be consumed in the fire. So there's no such thing as an immortal, a worm that has immortality, and there's no such thing as a fire that is everlasting, that'll never be quenched. It's all symbolic. It's symbolic. A lot of the Bible is symbolic. Can't take it literal. I guess that's it. Yahweh bless. Thanks for listening.